Thank you everyone for joining the Chop. My name is Jordan Stockdale with HireHarlem. This is the show where we are interviewing candidates for District 9 in Harlem. My co-host?
I'm Shana Harmongoff, and thank you so much, Pierre, for chopping it up with me and Jordan. Yes. So tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and why you decided to run for City Council.
Yes, my name is Pierre Gooding. I'm running for City Council in District 9, Harlem, my birthplace. I was born in the Grant Houses. I want to say thank you so much, first of all, to Shana and Jordan for having me on the program and the opportunity to speak about the issues of Harlem. I was born here. This is our second election. And when I jumped into the race in 2016 for 2017, there was no power and heat in my birthplace, the Grant Houses. So we're dealing with real issues like that in the community. Now, by the grace of God, we've made the ballot. We found out late last night. So we're incredibly thankful to all of our supporters in the community and elsewhere. And we're trying to do the work every day. Recently, we brought home 800 people from Ghana with the support of the president in Ghana against President Trump. So that was something we had to fight. We've put a state Senate candidate in jail who was scamming the public. And we've helped to run 2 homeless shelters over the past 3 years. So we think it's about doing the work in Harlem, and we're thankful for the opportunity to come on the program.
So you mentioned you grew up in the Grant Houses, and what was your experience growing up in the Grant Houses, and how did that inform your platform today to serve Harlemites?
Yeah, well, fortunately or unfortunately, when I was young, my mother had to make the decision to leave the Grant Houses because of the crack epidemic that was going on in Harlem. And so that's part and parcel of the platform. It's the entire platform. The children that grow up in the Grant Houses and elsewhere in Harlem should not be going to schools that are underserviced, that were poor when my mom was making the decision about which school to send me to, and are still poor in terms of academic results to this day. That's not right. It's not a discussion about charter schools and traditional public schools. It's about what we're doing to service our students in the community. It's something that I fought for as a teacher, and now in a position of local leadership. These are the sorts of things that we're trying to do in Harlem. We just think it's incredibly important. And so my background is the entire platform. It has to be because it means a lot. And for people who sort of come into the district that don't have that passion and energy, I don't think that it's effective for Harlem.
And one of the issues that are facing, and one of my questions was, what do you think are the biggest issues facing Harlem Nights? But one of the issues is basically housing. And so I want to know, what is your plan on how to protect our seniors, our moms and fathers in making sure they stay in affordable housing?
Yes, I appreciate the question, Shana. One big initiative, first 100 days that we are elected to City Council, we want to see is the lowering of the AMI, the area median income, to move into affordable housing from $63,000, which is not affordable in Harlem because our median income is $35,000. And we'd like to see the affordable housing rate and median income drop to that point so that our Harlemites can move into the affordable housing. It's currently not affordable for us. And the credit rating system they put on it makes it even less accessible. So we want to roll that back. That takes $0 out of the budget, but it ensures that millions of New Yorkers and thousands of Harlemites can move into affordable housing. We also want to make sure that in terms of NYCHA, we have housing that people can be proud of instead of the current conditions. I was in the Polo Grounds last week where my dad grew up. It was the conditions there that I saw trash all over the place, water, not running in apartments, which we jumped on immediately because it's not right. But this is what we're seeing every day. So it's about being in the community. Currently, we don't think our elected leadership is in the community, and that's part of the problem. So you start by being here, listening to what the issues are, and then solving them on a macro and micro level, 1% at a time, but also through policy and legislation that makes sense, and budget initiatives that make sense as well.
And going back to your story, you mentioned that your mother decided to leave because of the crack epidemic and the school conditions. It's wondering, we're in a moment now where there are very polarized opinions about law enforcement and how they protect or do not protect citizens in Harlem. And just wondering, what are your thoughts on how the law department or how police should be policing in Harlem and how they should not be?
I appreciate the question. I'm for accountability. So the rollback of qualified immunity that recently happened is something that we've advocated for in many different departments, but I don't think it goes far enough. Of course, you should face civil suit for a wrong that you've committed against an individual in New York or elsewhere. But we still have Penal Code 3530 on the books, which states that if you an officer shoots somebody and they feel they were in fear that they will not be sanctioned criminally, it has to be changed to a reasonable person standard as it is in other states, because that creates the types of issues where we have Eric Garner and there's nothing we can do about it. And then people ask why we can't do anything. It's because of these laws. That's the holdup. That's the bottleneck. So I'm for accountability. The transparency laws that we've put in place, great. 30 days, that was too much in terms of even time to get these records. A week, 2 weeks is more than enough time. So when we have competent people doing this sort of work, we can get results that we want as a community. But you have to understand the law and you have to understand how to change it.
So what groups are you most excited for with working with once you become, or if you become the next city council person?
Well, I mean, it starts in the community. Obviously, Community Board 10 entities that I've worked with in the community over the past 5, 6, 7 years are entities that we want to bring support to. We've seen them do the work. IHSAQ, Street Corner Resources, we've marched with them the past 3 years until, of course, the cancellation of the march in Harlem this year due to COVID. But support those initiatives and organizations that we've seen do the work without resources throughout the years. Of course, our schools that we've partnered with and that we haven't partnered with, we're trying to bring money to the community. We're going to have a $20 billion debt in the next 3 years. So it's not just talking about new programs. How do we efficiently and effectively bring this money to New York so that we can then put it into the community? Those are the sorts of think tanks and conversations that you have to have every day so that you can come up with policy. We don't think it's happening right now. And it's a huge problem because our community for the past 30 years has fallen behind with these resources. So we need more, not even parity with vaccinations, resources, testing. We need more to catch up. We need prep. We need information. We need information on ranked choice voting as the election comes up. All these things are important, hyper important in Harlem because of the inattention our community has received over the years.
And just looking at your career, you've done a number of different things. You're a teacher. You've been involved in politics for a number of years. And just wondering, what are some of the key things that you're most proud of during your career?
Yeah, Jordan, I recently really understanding the gravity of what was going on in Ghana and the fact that our Americans were overseas without any recourse was something that was heart-wrenching initially. And of course, when you take on an endeavor that large, people say, well, nothing can be done. And so you have to every day know that something can be done and push it forward. So we were proud to make sure that our Americans came back safe and soundly. We had to set up convoys in some cases with our own resources. So doing that work behind the scenes in some cases, of course, there's some press on it, but just making sure our people got home. We're proud of the work we did in 2017, making sure that we didn't have elected officials scamming the public while they were running for office, which is a story everyone knows about in the community, but can read about And then our work in our bed stabilization programs, our homeless shelters, which of course we want to make sure that homelessness goes away. But right now we have to deal with the situation at hand where homeless individuals don't even want to go to the shelters. So they're not safe in some places, and that creates a bigger divide for people who do not have access to housing. It's an incredible issue. So we have to take care of these things in our community. I'm appreciative for the opportunity to do so currently, but of course more has to be done at a city council level with that $90 billion budget.
Thank you for that. So let's talk about small businesses, because they are the mom and pop stores. They are the long-standing businesses. They're the MWBEs. And as we know, this is a pandemic, and a lot of these small businesses closed, and some of them weren't able to reopen. So what is your thoughts and plans on how we can protect these long-standing small businesses?
Yeah. Jordan, but Shana, I apologize. We've called for a New York City stimulus to help our small businesses and Harlemites and New Yorkers across the city on a number of occasions throughout this pandemic, starting early, because I've represent a lot of businesses in Harlem that have gone out of business because of the pandemic. There was no money to pay the small businesses, and so it was a rolling effect. Everyone saw that, and so we, before the rest of our businesses go out of business, we want that New York City stimulus. Now I've heard the chatter from New York City Council saying that there's no money for the stimulus, and I think that's wrong, because we have to pony up the money now so that our businesses don't go away. This is a long-term solution, because if we lose these businesses now, we're going to be even more in debt. There's a spiral that's already occurring, but we have to reverse it by making sure that we support our businesses, rolling back the red tape that stopped businesses from even coming to New York City and being here. We're talking about a $7 billion tax hike in Albany for New York City, which will drive a lot of small businesses out of our community. We have to be creative with raising that revenue, whether you're talking about the Amazon types of deals that we ushered away, or liberalization of laws. Of course, marijuana has come on the books now in Albany, so let's make sure that New York City sees a fair amount of that revenue, and especially our impacted communities that have been imprisoned by these laws for decades. And then making sure that other industries, gambling, prostitution, that they are upheld so that people have jobs and that small businesses can thrive. Then we can support unions. None of this can happen without a true support of small business that we do not feel is currently happening.
Powerful. All right, so we're going to turn the conversation a little bit and maybe make it a little bit light, and we'll jump into this this lightning round that we have. Before we do that, how do folks get involved in your campaign?
There's a lot of different ways. We're excited for the energy. Number one, ground game, just being in the streets with us, walking the streets. Contact goodingforharlem.com, Pierre Gooding, goodingforharlem@gmail.com, zoeforharlem@gmail.com, robertforharlem@gmail.com. There's a number of different people that you can contact on our website or elsewhere that will get you set up. But it's about being in the community. It's about making sure that people know what we're doing, and then going from there. Of course, on social media, as you're reading what we're up to, throw us a like, throw us a comment, so that we know what we need, what people want to see, and then we can act accordingly. It's the little things that count. Make sure that on June 22nd, you come out and vote. Pierre Gooding, #1, ranked choice voting. This is incredibly important. At a local level, we have to have our younger people come out and vote. Everybody, it's a mayoral election, but at a city council level, we need you. So please be aware, come out, reach out, and be a part of something special. Harlem first, Gooding for Harlem.
Thank you. Thank you. Just added you on social myself, Pierre Gooding.
Yes,
All
Jordan,
right.
thank
All
you.
right.
I'll add you after this. Jordan is on it.
He's on it. And no, Sean, I want
Yeah.
to say thank you for reaching out. This is how we become connected. Social media is the new space in terms of connecting our folks, older and younger. So we're appreciative for the opportunity.
Yes, thank you. So we have this lightning round. It's very light, fun, so nothing too
Sure.
stiff. So if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
Oh man, I'd love to see the future. I think it's cheating, but I think if you could see the future, you can do a lot of good. I think that power could also be used for a lot of harm. So maybe no one should have it, but I'd certainly like it. I think we could do a lot for Harlem and the rest of the world if we did have that ability.
That's interesting. Favorite soul food spot in Harlem?
Ooh, there's a couple. Melba's is where we actually found out about the crisis in Ghana. So shout out to Melba's. Sylvia's always the number one hotspot for all your politicians, local and national. But we have so many great restaurants, and I encourage people to come to Harlem, to come frequent all of the restaurants on 110th and Frederick Douglass on up. It's one of the most unique, greatest places in the world. So please come visit. But we have a ton. And Jordan and Shana, I invite you up. We can come, as this vaccination opens up the community, we can go out and try some of the great food in our community.
And we've actually been vaccinated, both me and Jordan.
Yes, I'm in the last group. So April 16th, by the grace of God, we'll have that opportunity. And even the folks I'm working with to bring the vaccination site online, they said, you got to wait your turn. So we're waiting patiently, and we'll get it and be excited about it.
Well, actually, the vaccinations for everyone 16 and up is starting next week, Tuesday, April 6th. So
exactly. Yeah, that's right. And so we're excited about that. Actually, there's a tweet on Twitter on our feed about the new date from Cuomo. So check that. Everyone be on the same page. Everyone get vaccinated. That's what's most important. So, Shana, I thought it was May 1st for
yeah.
long. So
yeah, it
I'm
was.
excited.
They keep,
Yeah.
I think because, well, I'm in politics. So I think we were trying to, we could reach immunity sooner. And a lot of people were saying that if the younger people had the opportunity to, a lot of them would. And so they kept pushing the data. With the vaccination, everything is a different day. Stuff changes, but like today, 30-year-olds and up can now get vaccinated. And then on next Tuesday, April 6th, is when you're 16 and up, regardless if you have a compromised immune system or anything, you can get the vaccine. So every day is a rolling thing.
Well, to your point, I've a client that went with her twin sister. The twin sister was getting vaccinated due to pregnancy, and so they actually told the twin sister that no, you can't get vaccinated today, even though we're going to throw out doses at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, actually, someone came down from higher up and ordered that she be vaccinated. So a good turnout, but obviously there were policy considerations, like why we're not using those dosages effectively. So I'm happy to see the efficiency coming online. We have to get people vaccinated. It's about 15% right now. So, and in Harlem, it's even less. So we have to raise that number substantially to get to herd immunity, as everyone is aware.
Definitely. Now, this might be a hard one for you because I know you went to UPenn, so we're listening closely on this one. Chopped cheese or Philly cheesesteak?
Oh man, wow! You put me in a tough position right now. Look, the corner store on 110th and Frederick Douglass, the chopped cheese, you can't go wrong. So shout out to my local corner store there. Please, everyone, go get a chopped cheese. You'll see that it's the greatest thing going. At the same time, come on, especially being a politician, you got to go both ways. So cheesesteak. cheesesteak in Philadelphia. You go to Pat's, you go to Geno's. And there's a third option, Jim's, downtown, that everyone secretly, low key, actually goes to a lot. So if you have one of those 4 options, you're having a good day.
Okay, walk, bus, train, or taxi.
Okay, all right. Well, I think in order: walk, subway, taxi, bus. And now people are gonna get on me. I understand, we should be riding the bus more, and I will do so. But I'm being honest. I love the subway, and I love walking just to get out of the apartment and get off some of this COVID weight that I've strapped on. So that's the order right now. We'll reprioritize, save our buses, save our subways. Hashtag.
So let me ask you, what's your favorite movie, book, or play that's about Harlem or that was made in Harlem?
Yeah, well, Luke Cage, I enjoy. And then at the same time, I don't. There's some aspects of it that hit too close to home. The local politics aspect and how grimy it is. I don't want people to think that's what we're up to, but I do get a kick out of it because it's set so locally, and the scenes. A lot of times, you used to see the taping, the shooting as you walk by, or some of the scenes are set right on Lenox, so you walk by them every day, and so that's obviously something that I enjoy.
I agree with you. They killed Marsha Ali too early, though. He was by far the best actor in the show, and they killed him off. And I'm like, what are y'all doing? You can't kill off the best actor.
Look, I just give me another season and another one and another one. Let's support these shows that probably suffered during this pandemic, just like a lot of our small businesses.
Okay, last one. Bodega with a cat or bodega without a cat?
Bodega without a cat. I got to go with the health concerns.
Are you sure? Are you sure? You said you got to go without the cat for health concerns, but the cats keep the rats away.
The cats keep the rats away. That is true. That's a true fact. You can find it in the newspapers. That's a true fact. At the same time, Shana, anytime I see a cat running around, my deli, my corner store, I get concerned. I don't know. It's a personal thing. I don't even know if that's logical, but that's the truth. So I'm going to go without a cat, with the caveat that, and no pun intended, that cats are necessary to control our rat infestation in our corner stores.
All right. So you want to see the cat. I'm here with it.
I want to see the cat. Yeah, just out of sight, out of mind.
That's cool. Well, Pierre, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you taking the time to do the interview and telling us your story and telling us your platform. So thank you so much.
Jordan and Shana, thank you so much for what you're doing to bring the information to Harlemites, New Yorkers, people across the country, people across the world. We really appreciate it. Keep up the great work. It's a privilege and a pleasure to be here. June 22nd, Democratic primary. Go out and vote. Harlem first.
Thank you so much.